Hello everybody and welcome back to another What I Eat in a Day as a Fat Person reaction video. My guess of what we're going to see today is someone having takeout for breakfast. The breakfast of champions. Please put your guesses of what you think we're going to see down in the comments below and we're going to get into it.
What I eat in a day as a plus-size vegan. So I started off with coffee. It's Busy Cold Brew and Silk Caramel Creamer.
There was quite a bit of creamer. It's not crazy excessive as we have seen, but it's okay. But just again with the creamers, do be mindful of them. But overall it's not horrendous and it looks like a pretty cool colour. I just like the colour in general. Not that is coffee, that colour, but it's a nice caramel colour.
And then for breakfast, I had a Dave's Everything Bagel with tofutti cream cheese. I love the Dave's bagels because they're a really good source of whole grains and protein and they don't taste weird.
If you're trying to get your protein in, don't do it by eating things like bagels. That's incredibly silly. I know she's a vegan, so it is going to be a little bit harder for her because she's obviously not eating dairy products or meat, animal products. So it can be a little bit more important for her to be mindful of things like protein in things like bagels, but she can still have things like tempeh and tofu, which is obviously what the cream cheesy a substitute is, and then things like legumes, so beans and broccoli and stuff like that. But if you are a vegan, it's probably best to speak to your doctor, and just so they're aware, because you may be deficient in certain vitamins. I know when I was a vegan I was struggling with the B vitamins because I'm pretty sure you can't get those from other non-animal sources, and B vitamins are incredibly important. They're for your nerves and stuff like that, and if you're very low on it, it can cause severe problems. So if you are having a big change or going on a big diet swaps, if you're going keto, you're going vegan or something like that, then do make sure to speak to a professional so they can help you and guide you to make sure that you're eating the right foods and in the right volumes as well, because you don't want to make a change like going vegan or going vegetarian for health reasons and then you develop loads of issues from that because you've not done it in the way that works for you. But it's quite a sad breakfast because she's a vegan and I've not seen any fruit or veg, which is crazy because being a vegan, that's kind of all that's left, fruit and veg. When I was a vegan, I was going through masses of fruit and veg, so just to have a bagel with tofu cream cheese is a bit wild to me.
Then after that, I baked some chocolate chip cookies from scratch. The recipe
brilliant. So we've got a breakfast dessert already. Fantastic. Just because it's vegan doesn't make it healthy. Oreos are also vegan. They're not healthy and they're not good for you.
Is by Nora Cooks Vegan, and these are amazing. I gave a couple to the ladies who were over painting our cabinets today and they absolutely loved them.
I mean, cookies are tasty and I am a really big baker. I love cooking. I love baking and taking things in for my colleagues and sharing them with family and stuff like that. But I wouldn't have a post-breakfast cookie. That's silly.
And for lunch, I had a spicy Impossible chicken sandwich with pickles and mayo. And then I also had some vegan onion rings with ranch.
Vegan onion rings? I don't know onion rings weren't vegan, that's nuts. But also, there's no veggies. I know that she said there are some pickles and like, yes, gherkins are a vegetable, but she's got what, 3-4 pieces there? That's not enough. She's vegan and she's had practically no fruit and veg yet. We're on meal number 2 and dessert number 1. So that's also a massive amount of mayonnaise. A serving of mayo is like 15 grams. And it is quite high in calories. And it's quite high in fats as well. And they're okay, but it's not the best. So what she could do here instead, have half the portion of onion rings or get rid of them completely because you've got enough carbs in the bread. Keep the gherkins because gherkins are delicious in burgers. Have this fake chicken burger bun, it's fine. It's not ideal because they are ultra processed, of course they are. They're fake meat. It's nothing wrong with them, but just be mindful of them. You might be better off making like a tofu burger or a mushroom burger from scratch. You can just dice up mushrooms and lots of other vegetables, really finely dice it, mix in a couple of eggs, and then maybe even some breadcrumbs. I mean, I personally wouldn't do that, but then yeah, mix it all together, form minced patties and bake them or cook them, however you choose, however you deem fit. But just add the veggies. Where are the veggies? You could have some lettuce and tomato and maybe some cucumber, carrot slices. You could have shredded cabbage to make it more like a kimchi kind of vibe, so more like a Korean style burger. And then on the side of this, you could have some asparagus or some broccoli, so a nice big piece of corn on the cob, and it would be really, really tasty, and it would be more suitable for a vegan because she's already going to be deficient in certain vitamins, or it's going to be harder for her to get certain vitamins in by not having animal products. So to then limit your intake further by having everything ultra processed and not a single vegetable as a vegan is incredibly odd to me. I don't know why you would do that. But she is living proof that veganism isn't always healthy.
Possible chicken sandwich with pickles and mayo, and then I also had some vegan onion rings with ranch. Then for dinner, I got filibertos, I got a bean burrito, and just a side of rice, and that is everything I ate today.
Look at the size of that burrito. It's literally both of her hands, and it's got space between her fingers as well. That burrito is enormous. If you've got a burrito that's the size of your head, you don't need a portion of rice as well, because burritos also have rice in them. Just have the burrito. Where are the veg? I mean, I'm sure there are some vegetables in here, but they're takeout food. It's going to be covered in oil. Why hasn't she had any vegetables? Roast some veg, boil some veg, have some just diced and raw. Where's the fruit? She hasn't had a piece of fruit all day. Where are the apples and the bananas and the cherries and the peaches and the nectarines and stuff like that? I don't understand how she feels good with this, because yes, she's a vegan, but everything she's eating is ultra processed garbage. It's very silly. And just for whilst we're on the topic, I'm not going to go vegan again, I don't think, but I am thinking of going back to vegetarianism in the new year, just because I think it would be good for me. And if you guys are interested, I could perhaps do some videos on, say, like once a month, do videos like what I ate in this month, and do like a selection of days that I ate and show you guys if you're interested. So it won't be them, it'll be what I do, and I think that might be interesting. But let me know down in the comments if that would be something that would intrigue you, because I'm not going to do it if you're not interested, because my food doesn't look like this. but yeah, let me know down in the comments and we'll see if we can do that if you want that. So yeah, anyway, if you've got a burrito, you don't need a side of rice.
I got a bean burrito and just a side of rice, and that is everything I ate today. Bye, guys.
What I ate in a day. Started the day with lunch because we were a little bit hungover on Saturday. So got one of these part-baked baguettes. I love.
That was so much cheese. These part-baked baguettes are pretty convenient. I'm certain you've got them in the US as well, but these ones are basically, you put them in the oven for about 12 minutes, or you can put them in the air fryer to 7 to 8 minutes, and they just come out cooked like a baguette, because they're baguettes obviously. And yeah, that's great. And there isn't nothing inherently wrong with them. They can be incredibly doughy, especially if you don't cook them long enough, which is just like preference. Some people really like that, but that's fine. That is an awful lot of cheese. I think this slice just here, this one, is probably a serving of cheese. A serving of cheese is 30 grams. 30 grams is not a lot. What I would say, if you really like cheese, and I am one of those people, I've currently got brie cheese in the fridge. It's delicious. If you've not had brie cheese recently, go and get some. It's so good. What I would recommend to you to do is to grate your cheese, because if you cut a slice, and it'd be a fun little experiment to do as well, if you cut a slice, you can cut it enough so you get 30 grams, and then grate some cheese and weigh out 30 grams. It looks like a lot more, and you can spread it over bread a lot more evenly as well when it's grated, and it gives you the impression that you're eating more, but you're not, and then you get the taste all over everywhere rather than like in a concentrated place. So if you do like cheese like me, I would, as I said, grate it, and you get more out of the volume that you can, like more out of the serving, I'll say. But she's got cheese and ham, so she's got a protein and a fat, and you do need fats in your diet, of course. She might be better off getting it from something like an avocado, but there is nothing actually inherently wrong with cheese as long as you do have a normal portion and don't go a little bit excessive like this lady has.
Yes, I love doing this. So cook it for like 7 minutes, then cut it open, put ham and cheese, pop it back in the oven for 3 minutes, and then we got this amazing Scotch egg from one of our local farm shops.
Not gonna lie, that Scotch egg looks really good. I love a Scotch egg. I have them when I see my partner quite regularly because he makes them and they are so good. But I imagine you have them in the US. They're literally a boiled egg with sausage meat around it with a bread crumb outside. And I think they're fried. I think they're deep fried, to be honest. But they are delicious. They are so good. They can be incredibly fatty because of the sausage meat, but they are delicious. And they're a pretty good source of protein because obviously it's an egg and meat. But they are, again, high in saturated fats and stuff. But if you're only having one every now and then, there's nothing inherently wrong with them. And they are, as I said, delicious and really, really common here as well. You can even get mini ones that you can put in like lunch boxes and stuff for children and for adults too. As adults who go to work also need lunch boxes. But yeah, delicious.
So cut that up, and I was just in a little snacky board, which ended up being quite a big snacky board, not gonna lie. And then have one of these chorizo sausage rolls, cut that in half for a piece for me and Sam, although I didn't like it. I didn't know.
That sausage roll looks like a decent sausage roll as well. It's really thick and got a lot of meat in it. And that is definitely the kind of sausage roll that you want to go for rather than the really thin ones. I imagine she also got this from the local farm shop because it is incredibly difficult to find sausage rolls like this in the shops. Though you may get them at the meat counters. I could be... I'm unsure about that. I don't often frequent the meat counter. But yeah, and then gherkins, delicious.
Eating it. I only had a little bite and then was like, ugh. It was like pure chorizo, which was a bit too much. And then put some gherkins and cornichons. Is that how you pronounce it? Who knows? I'm just going to second guess myself. And beetroot. Beetroot like this is banging.
It is really tasty, and the convenience of having sliced beetroot available is phenomenal. I never really appreciated how fortunate we are to have convenience foods like this. So we've got like pickled beetroot that you can buy in slices, and then you can buy the ones that are obviously whole but still pickled and ready to eat. We get gherkins and you can get them whole or sliced. I have a friend from Kazakhstan, and when she was in the UK for a year, she was just stunned by the variety of foods that we have. So the variety of fruits and veggies that you can just pick and that is ready and available for you to eat. And she was like stunned by the fact that we have sliced beetroot available to eat. In Kazakhstan, they just buy them raw and you have to cook them yourself. And it's just the little things like that that make our life easier that we should be incredibly grateful for. And hearing her experience really kind of opened my eyes to how lucky we actually are to live in the countries that we're in. So yeah, they're relatively cheap as well to buy like the tin of the jar of these, and you can reuse the jar as well, so it's less waste. But that's just a side. This is just a side note.
Absolutely love it. Ended up being like, would you call this antipasti? Would you call this ploughman's? Who knows? And then 2 pickled onions for me because Sam does not like them, so put them in this teeny weeny little jar. This was a gala pie, which was for Sam. I thought, let me get
the gala pie. For those of you who may be unaware, gala pie is similar to a Scotch egg, but instead of having the breaded outside, it's got a pastry outside. So it's got a boiled egg in the middle, then meat on the outside, and it's got kind of like a jelly in there as well, but it's like a meat jelly, and then it's got the pastry on the outside. And I'm not gonna lie, I quite enjoy a gala pie, but I have them incredibly rare because they are incredibly high in sodium and saturated fats. This board of hers is incredibly high in saturated fats, but it's also got a lot of ultra processed meats. And although processed meats are relatively high in protein, it is absolutely not the best source of protein out there, and it's going to be quite high in like nitrates as well, which it's not the best. It's not awful, it's not the worst thing in the world, but she would probably be better off having a little bit more of a cleaner protein in there as well. So rather than having the Scotch eggs and the gala pie and the sausage rolls, she might be better off having the Scotch eggs and the sausage rolls minus the sandwich even. So probably, actually, rethinking it, Scotch egg with the bread, the roll, and then that salad board that she had. So that would probably be plenty, rather than having the gala pie and the sausage roll on top of it. And I know she's sharing it with her partner, but even so, it's a little bit excessive.
Give it a go. Tasted it, rank. Didn't like it at all. So that was a baguette when it came out. And this is our lovely picky board. So just sat and watched a bit of telly and ate this. So I ended up eating half the Scotch egg, half the baguette, some of the little pickly bits, and that was it. And then
Fair enough. It's not awful, but like I said, it's not the best. Not enough veggies on there. Not enough fruit. Nothing good really for you. Chocolate bar. Okay, you should have it at the end of the day,
had a
realistically.
little sweet treat after. These are actually pretty.
The sweet treat thing, it kind of blows my mind because we see so many of these videos where the people are obsessed with sweet treats. You don't need a sweet treat. Clearly this is a Christmas one. It's going to be close to the Christmas holiday, and people do tend to go a little bit nuts at Christmas, and that's fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, and do have treats with your family and your friends and stuff. Do enjoy the Christmas break and Thanksgiving and everything else that comes along with those holidays. And yes, this is only one sweet, but if she's doing it every day, it can it it can cause weight gain. Let's just put it like that.
Good and festive, of course. Sam picked his carrots out the garden, gave them a wash, and we had some of those for dinner. So roasted them up with honey, oil, and some herbs.
How much oil? That's quite a lot of oil. They are glistening, but those carrots look phenomenal. I love the colour of them. Very, very nice carrots. That is a lot of oil though, and she's got honey on them as well. These are going to be incredibly high in calories, even though they're carrots. And this is where how you prepare it makes a difference. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of restaurant vegetables are cooked like this, which is why when you have restaurant veggies, it's not the same as if you cook them at home. But then if you cook them at home like this, then it's very similar. So you'd be better off maybe spritzing them with oil rather than coating them in oil and then roasting them, or roasting them in something like an air fryer, because you then don't have to use the oil at all, and you can still put them in honey. You can still do that. You just don't need the oil as well. In my opinion, that's how I cook them. I never really cook in oil like this. I just don't like oil.
Roasted them up with honey, oil, and some herbs, and then had some potatoes go in for a shepherd's pie. That was my bottom layer. I don't know if I've ever made a shepherd's pie before, but this is how I did. I think it was okay. The mash didn't really sink. That's what I was worried about, but it came out. Oh, look at it.
Does look good, not gonna lie. It looks really good. So because that is a really big portion, it's only 2 of them, I would imagine that they put the rest in the fridge and some of it in the freezer to save for later. And she did cook it at home, and that is just fantastic and really, really good to see. Shepherd's pies are really good as well. They're delicious. They're basically mincemeat in a tomatoey based sauce, and then generally with like really finely chopped carrots, then a layer of mashed potatoes, and the cheese is optional, but lots of people do it because it's cheese and it's delicious. But shepherd's pies are very tasty. They're very, very common here, especially as it gets colder, because they're really hearty and they warm you up. I would recommend them if you've never had one. I truly would. They are delicious. I've not had one in a very long time, but they are really good.
It was actually banging. It was so...
That is not a bad meal. It's a massive portion of her shepherd's pie, but most of it is minced, so it's okay. She didn't have an extortionate amount of mash on there, which is also good. The cheese is a little bit excessive, but that's fine. And she's got 3 broccoli florets, which isn't really enough, and then some of the carrots that are covered in oil. What I would suggest to her would be to have half of this portion of shepherd's pie and fill up the rest of the plate with the veggies. That's what I would do. Fill up on the veg. You'll feel full. It's really great fibre. It helps with your digestion, and it's really good for the macronutrients, like the vitamins and stuff that you need for a healthy body. So overall, it's not that bad. She's done pretty well for the day, to be honest. The snacky board was a little bit high on the ultra processed side, but she didn't have a whole load of it, so it's kind of like balanced out a little bit. Then the sweet in the middle was a bit unnecessary, but it was only one, and she has, like I said, had fairly substantial meals the rest of the day, so it's okay.
So delicious. I had leftovers the next day as well, and afterwards I had one of these, which I don't know what it's called, but it was reduced in Tesco, and it was lovely. Okay, bye.
I can't think of what they're called either, but again, they're quite common. And again, this is a second sweet treat. This is why you should save them to the end of the day, because you can have them still. And if you're somebody that really enjoys sweet treats, you are likely to have another sweet treat at the end of the day. So don't have one in the middle, because then you're just doubling up and you don't need to. Save them to the end of the day, have them as a treat if you feel the need to, but don't do it every day. And only have one. You don't need 2 chocolates or cakes or anything in the day. You don't need it. Just have one.
Reduced in Tesco, and it was lovely. Okay, bye.
Her video is silenced because she was playing music, which I don't want to listen to, and she wasn't talking in it. If you can't see the screen, she says, what I eat in a day is a fat person who isn't trying to lose weight. So again, this reads to me as somebody who is actively trying to maintain or gain on an already super morbidly obese body, which is odd. I don't know why you would do that. But anyway, her life. So, mini rice cakes. 8 a.m, chocolate rice cakes. Terrible way to start your day. Chocolate, which is just sugar and fat, and rice cakes. Completely empty carbs. They're not going to keep you full. They're not going to fill you up, and they're not going to do anything for you at all. No nutrients, no nothing in it. Don't have chocolate rice cakes for breakfast. They're not going to do anything for you at any point of the day, let alone breakfast. 9 a.m, a vanilla latte. So she's got those sachets, and the sachets aren't that bad. They are actually quite alright. I've found that they all taste the same, no matter what flavours you get, so I don't buy them anymore, because I think they are not worth it to me. I prefer black coffee anyway, and I have not had a sachet latte in a very, very long time. They're too expensive for what they are, in my opinion. But, yeah, it's not awful. It's not like 50 grams of sugar. Hungry Jack's, veggie whopper and chips. So we're having takeout. Fabulous. Oh dear. So we had ultra processed garbage for breakfast, then a coffee, and then we're having takeout for lunch at before midday. Brilliant. So you're not getting any nutrients really from this. There are obviously some token veggies in the burger, but it's in a burger. It's kind of cancelled out by the oil and the grease and the fats. And the chips are obviously just deep fried potatoes. So again, not the best. Have some real food. 3 p.m, partner brought home a KFC snack. That's crazy. Takeout is not a snack. That's wild. And I don't mean to judge this person's partner or their relationship. I'm not talking about them when I say this. I absolutely adore my partner and stuff, and if I've got family members that I absolutely adore, my siblings and that, if they were super morbidly obese, I would not be bringing them home takeout food. I would not do it, and they could not convince me to do it. There's just no way, because I love them too much to feed them garbage that's going to shorten their life. If you love someone, you should want to have them with you for a long time. And if they're super morbidly obese, bringing them KFC as a snack after they've had already a burger and chips from the takeout restaurant is not going to achieve that. You're going to shorten their life, and you're going to give them health problems that they are going to suffer from. It's not fun to have uncontrolled diabetes that makes you lose a foot, or makes you go blind, or makes you lose ability to feel your limbs because you've got diabetic neuropathy. That's not fun. It's not fun to be unable to move, to have back pain, to have knee pain, to have joint pain in general, to have the risk of having a heart attack at 35 or 40 or 50. It's not fun to risk having a stroke or kidney damage. Why would you bring someone you love garbage, trash, food that is going to kill them? I don't understand why you would do that. I would never. There's nothing there's nothing a loved one could say to me that would make me take them this sort of garbage when they were already super morbidly obese. I absolutely would not do it. She had nothing of substance all day. Nothing. Greek with the family. I got saganaki and dip. Takeout again. She's had takeout 3 times this day. This is insane. Do not eat like this. And she's got a Pepsi. I wonder if it's full sugar.
What I eat in...
Christ. Don't eat like that. That's just that is the rule book on how to give yourself a heart attack at 45 years old. Don't do that. You'll suffer health consequences so soon. Okay, so this lady is talking. She's responding to a comment that says, LMAO, she ain't gonna die if she skips a few meals. Blunt, unnecessary, true. But nobody realistically is gonna die if they skip a few meals, unless you're like diabetic or something. But in general, everybody can skip a few meals. I'm not saying you should. Don't do it if you don't have to. If you're not being monitored by a doctor for a specific reason, don't skip meals just for fun. You don't have to. But there is also no reason to send a comment like that. It's just unnecessary, isn't it?
Is a fat girl who gets comments like this and is still not on a diet. My coffee up.
That sounds to me, I get comments like this, I'm still not on a diet. It's like, it sounds like a haha gotcha to the person that wrote the comment, but she's the one that's going to have the health issues, not the commenter. So she's sticking it to the commenter by destroying her own health. The logic there is not logicking to me. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I think it's incredibly silly. It's cutting your nose off to spite your face. It truly is, and you shouldn't do it. Don't worry about what other people say online to you. If somebody tells you that they don't like the way that you dress or the way that you speak or the way that you present yourself in public, if you're not hurting anyone and you're not causing a disruption and you're just living your life, say you really like to wear bright neon coloured clothing. Someone tells you that you shouldn't do it when you're out and about living your life on a Saturday, no work, no responsibilities, and you're just doing your thing in Tesco, and they tell you that they don't like it, move on. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter. It's different if you're in the workplace and your boss tells you you can't wear that here. That's different. But if it's just some random that you don't know, just ignore them and move on. Don't let them destroy your day. It doesn't matter what they think. Somebody else's opinion of you is not your business. It's down to them to deal with their concerns. It's not up to you. Just ignore them.
Sugar. Had a breakfast full of comments like this and is still not on a diet. My coffee up with sugar. Had a breakfast full of carbs.
What did she say? Coffee full of sugar. That was a coffee full of sugar. She's got some kind of like iced coffee here, but look how much of this milk, frothy milk, that she's pouring in. She's still pouring it when the clip turns over, so she is pouring a lot of this, that she doesn't say what it is, into her coffee. That is a lot of sugar, and you probably don't need it.
A diet. My coffee up with sugar.
Look how much it is. Look how much of that there is. And it could be creamer, I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, it's unnecessary. You don't need that much.
Had a breakfast full of carbs.
That is a breakfast full of carbs. Probably. What is this? Biscuit with jam and butter? Maybe? I don't know. 2 fried eggs, prosciutto, I think, and some cheese. That's a lot of cheese. Eggs look great. I don't know what this is. And meat is meat, so it's fine.
Full of carbs. Eggs, cheese, and prosciutto. Vegan cream cheese from Trader Joe's is bomb. Smoothie bowls for me.
She's going so quick. It was a cream cheese, a vegan cream cheese. Fair enough. It's not horrendous. And look at this. You're telling me this isn't full of sugar? That's absolutely full of sugar. You don't need it in the morning. And look at the size of the cup. You don't need it that big either.
Joe's is bomb. Smoothie bowls for me and Noah, but fruit has sugar, so this is really unhealthy for me.
She's taking the piss, but she doesn't eat like this every day, does she? Let's be real. And also, smoothie bowls can be incredibly calorically dense, surprisingly so, especially when you're adding things like granola and nuts, because say one banana can be 150 calories depending on how big the banana is and how ripe it is. The more ripe banana, the more sugars it's got in it, which is why when you're making things like banana bread, you use overripe bananas, because the sugar content is a lot higher than if you were to use underripe bananas. So they can be incredibly calorically dense, and you're not eating this every day, and we know that because you're super morbidly obese. So you're not sticking it to anybody except like your kidneys and your liver, and your organs are being smothered by visceral fat.
Smoothie bowls for me and Noah, but fruit has sugar, so this is really unhealthy for me. I'm probably gonna die because this is what I had for dinner. Anyways, I'm hungry, gotta go.
I'm probably going to die because this is what I had for dinner. I don't believe this is all she had for dinner, first of all. The greenery is nice, these look very okay, and these are deep fried. But it's all shiny, so I assume it's all got some form of oil on it. But also, she is super morbidly obese. The clues in the name is morbid obesity. It causes death because you can die from it because it causes health complications. This meal isn't going to kill her, no, but being super morbidly obese will, most likely. So, yeah, the commenter, as I said earlier, it was unnecessary, but it is also true. As I said, it's true for most people. But, yeah, eating in such a way that makes you be 200 pounds, 150 pounds overweight will shorten your life. It doesn't matter if you want to just clap back up people on the internet. That's not going to change the fact that you're full of visceral fat. Yeah, don't destroy your health to clap back on randomly on the internet. It's an incredibly silly thing to do.
What I eat in a day as a fat person who's not trying to lose weight. I started with some infused water, leftover lentil soup with hash browns and avocado on top.
Have we seen that water clip before? Potentially. It doesn't matter. The water looks really good. Looks delicious. I love seeing a jungle in a water bottle, I'm not gonna lie, it makes it so tasty. My favourite is very simple. Lemon and one tiny little bit of cucumber. I love lemon water though. Sometimes when I'm at work, I got called out on this by my boss earlier today, I like to have boiling water, just water, nothing in it, and then one tiny little touch of lemon in it. It's quite tasty. And sometimes I just have hot water, because I can drink water in two ways: boiling or freezing. I can't have lukewarm water. It's not the way forward. It's disgusting. If it gets too hot, if my hot water gets too cold, I won't drink it. If my cold water gets too hot, I won't drink it. It's very silly of me. But anyway, that's me and my water story.
I started with some infused water, leftover lentil soup with hash browns and avocado on top.
That looks quite tasty, I'm not gonna lie, especially this lentil soup. That looks really good. I would love to have something like this. It looks delicious. I personally wouldn't have the hash brown with the lentil soup, just because lentils are obviously some kind of bean. They're incredibly high in carbs. They're a really healthy source of carbs, but you don't need carbs, and you can have the avo on its own. Just have the avocado with the soup. It'll be plenty. You don't need the hash brown. But overall, it's not awful. It looks tasty. So yeah, I'd probably have something like this, minus the hash brown.
Soup with hash browns and avocado on top. I also added some zucchini salsa. Then we stopped by the Good in the Hood festival, and we had this jerk chicken meal play and a Philly cheesesteak and some fried plantains.
That's so much food. That is so much food. Oh my goodness me. Look how much rice there is. Do you think rice covers the whole bottom of this polystyrene tray? Because you can see it here and you can see it in this corner. That's a lot of rice, and that's a lot of whatever this is. And this looks like barbecue, or it looks sticky, so it's going to have a lot of sugars in it. And then the coleslaw is okay, but it's got this nice big dollop of, I would assume, mayonnaise on it. Get rid of the mayonnaise and have like a quarter of this portion or half of the portion, and you'll be alright. But there are two of them, so they're probably sharing.
Chicken meal play, and
this is unnecessary when you've already got this. This is a portion for two. That is also a portion, well, that's probably for one, but still, you don't need both items. That's unnecessary. It looks okay.
A Philly cheesesteak and some fried.
I'm not gonna lie, I quite like plantains. They're quite tasty. So yeah, can't fault her on that. It's delicious.
Plantains.
But it's still unnecessary.
Everything was super bomb. Look at that bite. Then later that night, I had some leftover pasta salad. And for
I want to see how much pasta
super bomb.
salad.
Look at that bite.
Okay, the pasta salad doesn't look too bad. It's got some, I would assume, ham, olives, cucumber, maybe courgette. Oh, yeah, it might be a courgette, I don't know. And then tomatoes. It's not that bad, to be honest. It doesn't look like it's covered in sauces either. It could have like a vinaigrette on it, which is fine. And it is a lot of pasta, so maybe mess with the ratios a little bit, have more of the veggies and less of the pasta. But that's just probably personal preference, and I can't see how big the portion is based on how she has filmed it, but that's okay. It's fine.
Then later that night, I had some leftover pasta salad. And for dessert, we had this Milk Bar chocolate birthday cake ice cream. It is so delicious. If you guys haven't tried it, bomb.
How much did you have, I do wonder? If you have had a day of eating,
Food festival, and we had this
and
jerk
you've
chicken
eaten
meal
this,
play and a
this,
Philly cheesesteak
and
and
this,
some fried plantains.
you do not need a dessert at the end of the day. I'm not saying you can't have dessert anytime. Obviously, I repeat this in every single video. Dessert is not the enemy at all. You can have dessert. We all have dessert at one point or another. It's currently December. Lots of us have advent calendars. I have an advent calendar that my partner got me, and I've not even opened the first one yet because I was at work and then I came home and went to sleep. And then I got distracted by something else, and then I didn't feel the need for chocolate, and today is the 4th of December, so I'm pre-filming because this is for the weekend, and I don't have weekend time anymore. And I still haven't opened it. I may have one tonight, but it is also 10:30, and I have work in the morning, so I probably won't because I need to go to bed. But yeah, I will probably still be eating them in January, but that's me. But the point of me bringing up the advent calendars is that we've mostly got advent calendars, and that's fine. It's a piece of chocolate every day. It's okay. It's not going to harm you. It's not going to damage your progress or anything. I like to have my chocolate at the end of the day. So I open my advent calendars when I open them at the end of the day. You can have them in the morning, it's fine, it doesn't matter. But if you're having takeout food that's super greasy and ultra processed and high in everything, you don't need chocolate too at the end. You just don't need it. It's just unnecessary.
Bomb. And that's what I ate.
Fair enough. Well, that is the end of the video. I have got no more clips for today, and as I said, it is 10:30. I do need to go to bed. So I'm going to edit this and then go to sleep. But that's for me to concern myself with. Thank you for watching. If you haven't made it this far, I do appreciate you being here and sticking with me for this long and me chattering away. Please let me know down in the comments what you liked and what you didn't like. And yeah, thank you for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.